Lewis Hart for the Ring magazine. I'm joined here with promoter Ben Shalom. It's been a minute, mate. I think the last time I caught up with you was Eubank Benn, the first fight.
Really?
It's been that while. It's been a long time.
We've had a couple of shows since then.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I wasn't at the Barnsley one.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. But
good to see you.
How's things been, mate?
Listen, good. I mean, a lot of changes. Obviously announced the BBC deal, announced our first 2 shows with them, which has gone down really well. So it's a transitional phase for us. I'm very proud of the team in terms of how they've managed the transition. You going from Sky Sports to BBC, 2 enormous giants, bringing the BBC back into boxing, particularly at this time, I think is so important. I think for British boxing, it's a massive move. I think what DAZN are doing is unbelievable for boxing, but we also need to make sure that British boxing is staying in the eyes and staying in the casual fans' minds. And I'm so excited for the shows to come. I think it's going to be an unprecedented opportunity for us, for boxing, to have an audience like that, and it all starts on November 29th.
Yeah, look, there's a lot to get into, Ben. So we'll break it down. We'll start off with Eubank Jr, Ben 2. Eubank Sr with a little surprise appearance at the press conference. What did you make, I guess, of everything there and the things that were said particularly?
You know what it is? I have to say, like, as a young promoter, to be working with Eubank Jr and Eubank Sr and the way they conduct themselves in an industry that, let's be honest, is full of bullshit, full of lies, I mean, it's hard to find an honest person in the sport. It's hard to find any sort of decency in the sport. And I have to say, working with them, listen, they might not be everyone's cup of tea, but working with them and their principles they uphold and how they conduct themselves with courage, but also with complete honesty, it's honestly a pleasure. For me, Eubank Jr. now I remember when I started working with him, he was a big star, but he's gone to absolutely enormous levels. For me, he's the biggest pay-per-view star we now have in this country. And to see him every time performing, obviously he's just started this reality show. I think it's going to be continued, but it was on BBC One this week, and everything that he's doing for the sport now, it's a pleasure to be involved with, and to be sat up there with Senior and Junior and that iconic photo with the dads, that'll be remembered in British boxing history forever. And so to be part of that, to be part of the A side, to be part of the winning side, to be part of what I believe is the biggest name probably in British boxing is that Eubank name. It's incredible, and what an event we have in store on Saturday night.
Yeah, is it right to question what Eubank Jr may have left in this fight after how brutal the first fight was? And obviously, we know he's obviously been fighting at 160, but people seem to forget. It's right to outgrow the weight.
100%, and look, it can be difficult. I think people will look too much into that first fight. I think a lot of it for me was Conor Benn took me by surprise. I don't think anyone was expecting that fight. I don't think anyone was expecting the resilience of Conor Benn. I don't even think Junior might not admit it, but he expected a fight like that, and that's why I'm seeing in the preparation for this fight, Brian McIntyre being back in the mix as well, and in the camp that they've had. I think this is going to be a demolition job on Saturday night. I really do. I think this will be a huge statement. He knows that to get that Canelo fight, to make sure that we can attract Canelo to come and fight in the UK, which is he's talked about as being a dream of his. Chris Eubank Jr needs to do it in style on Saturday night, and so of course the last fight was a taxing fight on both of them, but Chris doesn't want that again. He wants to put on a statement.
So I'm going to break down a lot of the stuff that Eubank Jr said, from the first presser to now. Yeah. I mean, from there he addressed obviously Matchroom blocking his security guard Ivan from the venue because of what happened with the ambulance. Also about Eddie Hearn and Nigel Benn. I don't really think Conor said anything about Chris Eubank Sr get paid to turn up. Touching on then,
Look, as I say, it's a pleasure to work with them because they call stuff out. So much of what you guys do and so much of what I've said, I mean, 60% of it's nonsense. Never mind, there's a few lies in there. 60%, 70% of what is said on these YouTube channels is bullshit. Like, it's straight up bullshit. It's just mastery of bullshit. And it takes a lot of guts to call that out, particularly as a fighter, and I think that's what Junior's doing. And yeah, look, I stand behind him because he's making points for a reason, and yeah, as I say, it's great to have Senior, it's great to have Junior, and they are just a family that we should celebrate in British boxing.
Are you aligned with Eubank Jr when he talks about the ambulance?
No, what I am aligned about is
that implicates Boxer as well.
Yeah, no, listen, it was a disgrace.
Yeah.
Everyone involved at that event has to take responsibility for the fact it was
including
Boxer.
Okay.
It was an absolute disgrace that we couldn't get out of that venue for 20 minutes. It is a disgrace. It's something that you see at a white collar fight, not with the British Boxing Board of Control.
The British Boxing Board of Control, Robert Smith come out on TalkSport and said he was satisfied with the procedures that were taken.
Well, that is absolute nonsense. And listen, I got a lot of respect for the British Boxing Board of Control, but I'm not going to agree. That's absolute nonsense. Okay. I saw what happened. How can you agree with someone being stuck in an ambulance for 20 minutes? I'm surprised. Listen, I don't know if he said that. You're saying it to me.
I'm not lying. I didn't make it up.
Well, we all have to make mistakes. We all have to accept when mistakes are made. It's a new venue for boxing. Whatever happened that night could have ended in a disaster. And trust me, if it had ended up in a disaster, heads would have rolled.
Absolutely, no, for sure. Completely agree with you on that. But yeah, that's just what Robert said. So I think what he's trying to say is he's trying to put onus on Tottenham Hotspur and their security.
Fine, yeah. Whatever it was, you cannot justify what happened. I'm not saying it was the board. I'm not saying this. There should be an inquest into that. I don't know. All I can see is the result. And when we're screaming and banging on the doors and they're not letting him out after what's just happened, that's a nonsense for British. That's not, you know. I've done shows from when I started at Bowler's Exhibition Centre and leisure centres and small halls. The first thing on the fucking team sheet is making sure an ambulance can get away as quickly as possible. So it is bad that was allowed to happen in any boxing event, never mind one of this scale.
Absolutely. And as for the weigh-in as well, I wanted to ask you about that. He talked about the weigh-in being sabotaged.
The weigh-in was a disgrace last time.
That being a disgrace, the counter argument to there, look, I was there and I understand, but he was an hour late. He was late to that weigh-in when Conor Benn weighed in.
We talk about safety of fighters, right? When a fighter is under extreme stress trying to make a weight, the last thing you do is try and encourage that stress, is try and bowl him around, is try and make it difficult for him to come into a room, is try and surround him, is try and make fun of him, is laugh at him. Look, you got me going on here, but
no, you know, please do.
Yeah, please do. I just never would act like that. I would never act like that. It's not my nature. It's not, you know, people could say, oh, well, you should act like this because we're in boxing and that's how you have to do. You have to cheat, you have to lie, you have to do things to gain an advantage. Not for me. Whether that's good or bad, I'm never gonna be like that with a fighter, particularly one that's weighing in. And I wouldn't say surprised, but I was disappointed to see that, and it makes you question sometimes when you see things like that, it makes you question what the point is.
Right, though, that Junior has to take some responsibility to turn up late, though.
Listen, he was having to come across town with a huge amount of traffic in a very contentious moment. Late or not late, there was a lot of confusion around the time that kept changing and this or that. And then when he got there, he wasn't told, you've got 4 minutes. He wasn't told anything.
Like,
no, but he wasn't.
Is
the fighter? Is the fighter there to understand and administer what the British Boxing Board of Control are doing? It wasn't a title fight. It wasn't whatever. He's got there. Everyone sat around, seeing that no one said anything to him, and suddenly they dropped it on him. To be honest, we have talked about this on the past thing. I don't really want to go.
I haven't spoken to you since. That's why I brought it up.
I don't really want to go into what happened. I'm confident it won't happen this time. There will only be one person from each team in that weighing room. It won't be a circus. It won't be the subject of a reality series, and we won't be making fun of fighters making weight. That's all that will happen.
Because I know they were moaning about the gloves as well. Would that situation be cleared up as for tomorrow?
Well, I've just been in a board rules meeting looking at gloves, and it's not.
Okay, what's the deal? Not happy with it?
We'll see. It depends which gloves they choose on the night.
Okay, interesting. Look, Ben, just quickly moving on from this fight. Haven't really spoke to you since the BBC deal and departing Sky as well. Just touching on the departure of Sky as well. What are your thoughts on that relationship coming to an end?
Look, I think it was difficult. I've not spoken about the time at Sky at all, and one day maybe I will, but we did a lot of amazing things from a standing start, and the stable that we built and the nights that we put on and the pay-per-view nights, and I don't think anyone expected us to come into the sport the way that we did. There's times where sometimes a broadcaster wants one thing, a promoter wants another thing, and things come naturally to an end. But it was an amazing period for me. But sometimes decisions are made. You're the licensed promoter, and if decisions are made that sometimes that you're not in control of, or you're not completely behind or whatnot, then you're the one in the firing line, and it gets to a point where as a young promoter you want to be responsible and proud of all the decisions that are made. And as I say, it was a great time with Sky, but to be able to go and put shows on the BBC, and when that opportunity came and when that offer came for the first time in 20 years, it was a dream come true, and it begins on November 29th.
Over the 4 years, do you think you delivered at Sky?
I think I delivered more than anyone could have ever expected. DAZN, the biggest rights deal in British boxing history, with the most established promoters who've built their stables for 6, 7, 8, 10 years, went to start from scratch. And some of the events that we're getting kicked out there. Some of the events that we put on, and some of the fighters that we developed, we couldn't cherry pick. We had to develop fighters from scratch. It was I think what we did with our budget to go up against the big boys with much bigger budgets, with much more established fighters, as a young business, with no support, with no help, it was incredible. And I'm very proud of what we did, but now we transition into a major deal.
For BBC, is it 4 shows a year?
What I saw
that was what put out by the tenure.
That was what was for a production trial. When this deal first started murmuring, at one point it was a BBC Sport deal, then I think it was the website, then it became iPlayer, then it became BBC 3 only, and then we announced it was BBC 2. I'm not going to respond to such nonsense, and as I say, it begins on November 29th.
Okay, yeah. So what is it? Because is it a BBC exclusive to Boxer then? Or
they're our exclusive free-to-air partner.
Yeah.
We do have huge news to announce around our pay TV partner in the next week or two, which is massive again, I think, for British boxing, and great for us, which gives us that transition and of building the stars and then being able to build them towards pay-per-view. Of course, BBC can't monetize, so when it gets to the point of box office shows, that's where it becomes tricky, but it's a number one place we could ever ask for to build stars. So we will have a pay TV partner being announced, I hope, before Clark TKB.
Yeah, I guess how does it deal in terms of budget and whatnot? Because that was the thing when the BBC deal got announced. There was a lot of, I guess, questions around.
Definitely from you, I saw that.
See, I know, but then obviously, because I asked the question to you, how does this deal with top fighters like Adam Azim, who's on this show on Saturday, Ben Whittaker, he's not there anymore. I don't know what the questions are with, Caroline Dubois, Vidal Riley's a free agent now. So I'm right to question that when you see your fighters who aren't fighting on your shows.
First of all, we're in a stage where we have to change. There's certain fighters that perhaps were chosen as part of the partnership, was chosen perhaps by the broadcaster. I think we're in a position now where we can choose and we can decide on the fighters that we want to work with long term, and it's as I say, it's an exciting time. We want to put on big British events on the BBC. We've seen that with the heavyweight British title. We're seeing that with Simpson Troy Williamson, which will be an absolute sellout in Leeds. And to get that on terrestrial TV is huge, and it's the beginning. And we'll see Adam Azim on there after this fight. God willing, he comes through and performs really well. He'll headline on BBC 2 at the end of January. So it's a start. of something very, very special. And as I say, we have a pay TV announcement coming very soon as well.
Interesting. Yeah. So by pay TV, that's obviously like like a DAZN or whatnot, but like a broadcast that you say there, right? Like a separate broadcaster to BBC. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Caroline Dubois was there today. Is she still a boxer fighter?
Yeah, I'm seeing her after. I think again, we have to think about what are the types of fighters that suit where we're going. We have to listen to what they want to do, and I've had an unbelievable relationship with Caroline. She's one of my favourite fighters in the country. She's got so much to achieve, and we'll see. I'll be sitting down with her and seeing what the next plans are. She was actually due to fight in October initially, but she picked up a little injury, so I think she's looking at an end of year, early next year return.
Yeah, and a final one from myself, Ben. Ricky Hatton, I haven't spoken to him since the passing of him. A man that you've admitted very influential in your boxing career. You was at his funeral as well. How missed will he be by the community?
Still doesn't feel real, to be honest. A lot of people don't know he was the first person I met in boxing.
Yeah, exactly.
He was the guy that told me I should have confidence, told me that I could be a promoter, and came to every single show that I did. Incredible guy to everyone, but I'm so thankful to him, and I will be, my family will be for the rest of my life. That guy is an absolute hero. I still genuinely can't believe that he's not here. It still feels like he's here. But what an absolute legend, and we'll never ever see another Ricky Hatton.
Brilliant, Ben. Appreciate the time. Thanks, man.
Thank you.